kasama ko si Elaine.
Found a love for me, darling, just dive right in, follow my lead. Well, I found a boy, beautiful and sweet. Oh, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time, but darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you learned to mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Oh, thinking about our younger years, there was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. Now nothing can take you away from me. We've been down that road before, but that's over now. You keep me coming back for more. Baby, you're all that I want when you're lying here in my arms. I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. Love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven. Found a love for me, darling, just dive right in, follow my lead. Well, I found a boy, beautiful and sweet. Oh, I never knew you were the someone waiting for me. 'Cause we were just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it was. I will not give you up this time, but darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes you're holding mine. Baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot my breath, but you heard it. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Oh, thinking about our younger years, there was only you and me. We were young and wild and free. Now nothing can take you away from me. We've been down that road before, but that's over now. You keep me coming back for more. Maybe you're all that I want when you're lying here in my arms. I'm finding it hard to believe we're in heaven. Love is all that I need, and I found it there in your heart. It isn't too hard to see we're in heaven.
Good afternoon, Hillmarks community, Phoenix Garuda, and all the other group of companies. Napakasaya po nitong araw na to because today, we are going to talk about a very important topic, and alam niyo po, it's the Heart Month, and of course, napakasayang pag-usapan natin ang tungkol sa relasyon at ang tungkol sa pag-ibig. So itong hapon pong ito, we are very blessed. Talagang napaka-excited po ng lahat. Talagang kasama po natin ngayon ang ating pinakamamahal na Managing Director for Administration and Finance, live! At talagang napakaganda po ng sikat ng araw, straight from Bacolor, Pampanga. Hi ma'am, good afternoon po.
Hello everyone. A blissful afternoon to all viewers, colleagues, and co-workers of Hillmarks, Phoenix Garuda, and Building Beaver. When Mr. Resho, our HR manager, asked me to speak about love and relationship, I accepted right away because I have not been doing anything substantial. Thank you, sir, for giving me this task. Reliving my 55 years as a student and professor of the humanities, teaching literature, English grammar, and the arts has been my passion and love. The word love is commonly used and often misused. Love is a universal theme to all great works, be it philosophy, paintings, music, poetry, prose, movies, stage plays, sculpture, lullabies, fairy tales. During our time, the songs No Other Love, like No Other Love, yung mga ganon ni, sino ba yun? Nat King Cole. Love is a many splendored thing. Love is a many splendored thing. And then, Love Me Tender ni Elvis Presley. They permeated the air. Nowadays, we listen to Perfect, Buwan. If you think you know how to love me, love hurts. Magkakaiba ang pagtalakay pero iisa ang nilalaman, love, pagmamahal. And who has not seen the movies, Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, dahil sa isang bulaklak? Love means never having to say I'm sorry, where everybody who comes out of the theater had swollen eyes. One More Chance ni John Lloyd at Bea. You must have seen the paintings of Mona Lisa. Alam nyo ba na si Mona Lisa ay walang ngipin? Kaya ganun ang itsura niya. But it has become a classic. Madonna and Child. By the way, grand structures like Taj Mahal was built for the love of a wife who died because of childbirth. Your parents built you homes and safe environment. Why? Because they love you. During our time, men would lift passages from the book of poetry, Beyond Forgetting, to send love poems to loved ones. And then the passages like, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways, was very famous during our time. Love challenges the mind and stirs the heart. For theater goers, Mamma Mia is very popular. Miss Saigon, Phantom of the Opera have always been delightful to watch. Cinderella, Snow White, those are favorites of children, which speak of love. Love at a young age, I was taught a perfect short poem, and I'm sure everybody knows this. It's a love of God to us. It goes, Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love entrusts me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen. Isn't it beautiful? It tells us that God is love. God created us for love. He created us to love. Love challenges the mind and stirs the heart. Love in all its phases are immortalized in our soul and in our hearts, what we call our first love. Do you know that the opposite of love is not hate? Why? Because when you hate someone, you still feel something. You feel anger. But when we say opposite, it should be nothing. So the opposite of love is indifference. But, you know, to be indifferent could cost you to death or could cost your life. Remember that policeman and the old woman? When the old woman said, I don't care, You see, it cost her life. So don't be indifferent. I warn you. Before I could get swayed by more stories, I would like to start already. I have always been inspired by St. Paul's insight, which states, even if I have faith so as to move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I have, and if I deliver my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. So today, I would like to share you my thoughts about love and relationship, mostly drawn from the marriage counseling days to young couples and from the Bible. My reading the scriptures led me to conclude that God is the authority on love from creation to resurrection. In a lyrical passage of St. Paul, we see some of the features of the true love. This passage is often quoted in wedding invitations, so I chose to discuss it with you. First, love is patient, love is kind. Love is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Love does not exist. Love does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the right. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endure all things. In this passage are 13 situations worth understanding because love is experienced and nurtured in the daily life of couples and their children. Number one, love is patient. This is not merely enduring things. It is more to the quality of one who does not act on impulse and avoids getting offense. Being patient does not mean letting ourselves be constantly mistreated, tolerating physical aggression, or allowing other people to use us. We encounter problems whenever we think that relationships or people ought to be perfect, or when we put ourselves at the center and expect things to turn out our way. Then everything makes us impatient. Everything makes us react aggressively. Unless we cultivate patience, we will find excuses for responding angrily. We will end up incapable of living together, antisocial, unable to control our impulse, and our families will become battlegrounds. Love always has an aspect of deep compassion that leads to accepting the other person as part of this world, even when he or she acts differently than I would like. Ang pagsasama ng matagal ay nangangahulugan ng pagkahinahon. Kung minsan, kung ang isa ay mainit ang ulo, ang kabila dapat ay tahimik. Magpalamig ka muna sa labas. Hindi magdamag sa labas. Magpalamig lang sa labas, hindi magdamag sa labas. Okay? Next, love is kind. Saint Paul clarifies that patience is not a completely passive attitude, but one accompanied by activity, by a dynamic and creative interaction with others. Love benefits and helps others. It is kind. It is ever ready to be of assistance. Saint Paul stresses that love is more than a mere feeling. To love is to do good. Love is shown more by deeds than by words. It shows its fruitfulness and allows us to experience the happiness of giving, the possibility of spending ourselves unstintingly without asking to be repaid, purely for the pleasure of giving and serving. Ang pagsasama ay matatag kung ang pakiramdam ng bawat isa ay may kaakibat na pagtulong upang walang maranasang hirap. Kung kaya mong gawin ang isang gawain, huwag mo nang hintayin ang asawa mong gagawa pa nito. Kayanin mo na. Kasi tutulungan mo nga siya para kayo'y magginhawang dalawa. Number 3, love is not jealous. This means that love has no room for discomfiture at another person's good fortune. Envy is a form of sadness provoked by another prosperity. It shows that we are not concerned for the happiness of others, but only with our own well-being. For us, Love makes us rise above ourselves. Envy closed us in on ourselves. True love values the other person's achievements. It does not see him or her as a threat. It frees us from the sour taste of envy. It recognizes that everyone has different gifts and a unique path in life. So, it strives to discover its own road to happiness while allowing others to find theirs. Love means fulfilling the last two commandments of God's law. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant, or his maidservant, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Ang ibig sabihin nito, be content with what you have. Pagyamanin mo ito. Work hard to fulfill your needs. Na-promote ang kasama mo, bless her. Congratulate her. Get inspiration from her. See? Huwag kang magalit. Huwag mong sisihin ang sino-sino. Don't blame others but hindi ka na-promote. Love inspires a sincere esteem for every human being and the recognition of his or her own right to happiness. This deeply rooted love leads me to reject the injustice, whereby some possess too much and others too little. It moves me to find ways of helping society's outcasts to find joy. This is the desire for equality. So, if you have so much, or you have more than enough, and a relative could not send his child to school, you may offer your assistance. Yun ang sinasabi doon. Pag Christmas time, you may want to share your blessings, doing acts of mercy. Ano yun? Hindi ka kailangan gumastos. Visit the hospitals, visit the sick, visit the poor people in the prison. Give them inspiration. Ganon. Number 4, love is not boastful. Those who love refrain from speaking too much about themselves, but are focused on others. They do not need to be the center of attention because love is not arrogant. It means that we do not become puffed up before others. Some think that they are important because they are more knowledgeable than others. They want to lord it over them. Yet, what really makes us important is a love that understands, shows concern, and embraces the weak. Love, on the other hand, is marked by humility. If we are to understand, forgive, and serve others from the heart, our pride has to be healed and our humility must increase. Many couples, they quarrel over trifle things. Malilit na bagay, pinag-aawayan. Kunyari, Christmas. The wife went to Shoe Mart, bibili ng dekorasyon. Pagdating niya sa bahay, idedekorasyon niya yun sa bahay. Then alis na, magpapasok na siya. Pagdating niya, wala na yung dekorasyon niya sa bahay. Bakit? Pinakialaman nung husband. And then, ayun na, nag-aaway na sila. O bakit mo tinanggal? Eh kasi, ang taste mo, probinsyana. Ganon. Kasi hindi bagay yung mga ganon. So, ano nangyari? You are being rude. Akala mo ikaw lang yung nakakaintindi. Eh, kayong dalawa ang may bahay niyan eh. Yun lang ba gusto mo ang nakikita niya? Ay yung nakikita niya, gusto rin niyang yung kanya. You see? So, love is not rude. Maraming bagay yan, hindi lang sa dekorasyon ng bahay, hindi lang sa pagtatanim. Ay marami. Pati yung isusuot ng isa, hindi mo bagay yan. Ito isuot mo. Yung pakikialam ba? Love is not rude. Ha? Na papag-usapan lahat yan. To be open to a genuine encounter with others, a kind of look is essential. A kind look helps us to see beyond our own limitations, to be patient and to cooperate with others, despite our differences. Loving kindness builds bonds, cultivates relationships, creates new networks of integration, and knits a firm social fabric. In this way, it grows even stronger, for without a sense of belonging, we cannot sustain a commitment to others. We end up seeking our convenience alone, and life in common becomes impossible. Antisocial persons think that other exists only for the satisfaction of their own needs. There is no room for the gentleness of love and its expression. Those who love are capable of speaking words of comfort, strength, consolation, and encouragement. Ang ibig sabihin nun, minsan, I was able to advise yung kinuha nila akong ninang. Alam mo, iho, napakaswerte mo, kako, kasi maamo ang mukha ng napili mo. Bakit po? Eh kasi mantakin mo, araw-araw, pagising mo, siya lang yung nakikita mo. O di, maganda talaga kasi pagising mo, maliwalas kagad yung mukha yung kasama mo. O di ba? Tapos ngingiti pa siya. O di maliwanag ng araw mo. So, advice yan. Dapat marunong tayo yung ngumiti. Love is generous. Number 6. We have repeatedly said that to love another, we must first love ourselves. Saint Paul said, "Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others." The Bible makes it clear that generously serving others is far more noble than loving ourselves. Loving ourselves is only important as a psychological prerequisite for being able to love others. Mothers, who are those who love the most, seek to love more than to be loved. Consequently, love can transcend and overflow the demands of justice, expecting nothing in return. And the greatest of loves can lead to laying down one's life for another. At talaga naman, ang pagmamahal ng nanay ay walang katulad. Love is not irritable or resentful. This refers to a violent reaction within, a hidden irritation that sets us on edge where others are concerned, as if they were troublesome or threatening, and thus be avoided. To nurture such interior hostility helps no one. It causes hurt and alienation. Let us not be overcome by evil. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Be angry, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger. Never let the day end without making peace in the family. Make peace just by small gesture, a little something, and harmony within your family will be restored. Paano yun? Just a little caress. No words are necessary. Our first reaction when we are annoyed should be one of heartfelt blessing, asking God to bless, free, and heal that person. If we must fight evil, so be it. But we must always say no to violence in the home. When I was still a very active member of Gabriela, I sent a lot of husbands who manhandled their wives to prison. Ang dami kong napakulong. Kasi their wives are battered. How can you do that to your wife? To manhandle your wife. Okay? Don't be violent. Masama yun. Lahat ng mga mag-asawa ay may hindi pinagkakaunawaan. Pero, dapat tanggalin natin ang ating mga pride. Kung galit kayo, tumahimik. Huwag magsalubong ang galit. Pagkatapos niyan, yakapin mo na lang siya. O kaya yung mga endearments nyo, kung minsan, kagatin mo yung isang tenga niya, or pitikin mo yung ilong niya, yung kanon. O kaya, mahilig siya ng snack, o di prepare mo na yung snack, ibig sabihin, wala ka ng galit. Di ba? So maraming paraan para hindi magtagal yung inyong pagkakagalit sa isa't isa. Love forgives. Once we allow ill will to take root in our hearts, it leads to deep resentment. The opposite of resentment is forgiveness, which is rooted in a positive attitude that seeks to understand other people's weaknesses and to excuse them. Yet, we keep looking for more and more faults, imagining greater evils, presuming all kinds of bad intentions, and so resentment grows and deepens. Thus, every mistake or lapse on the part of a spouse can harm the bond of love and the stability of family. The just desire to see our rights respected turns into a thirst for vengeance rather than a reasoned defense of our dignity. When we have been offended or let down, forgiveness is possible and desirable, but no one can say it is easy. Oh my God, it's so difficult to forgive. Pero kailangan mag-forgive tayo eh. Family communion can only be preserved and perfected through a great spirit of sacrifice. Yes, sakripisyo talaga. It requires a ready and generous openness of each and all to understanding, to forbearance, to pardon, to reconciliation. There is no family that does not know how selfishness, discord, tension, and conflict violently attack and at times mortally wound its own communion. Hence, there arise the many and varied forms of division in family life. Today, we recognize that being able to forgive others implies the liberating experience of understanding and forgiving ourselves. Often, our mistakes or criticism we have received from loved ones can lead to loss of self-esteem. We become distant from others, avoiding affection, and fearful in our interpersonal relationships. Blaming others becomes falsely reassuring. We need to learn to pray over our past history, to accept ourselves, to learn how to live with our limitations, and even to forgive ourselves in order to have the same attitude towards others. So, maraming nagkukwento sa akin. Ma'am, talagang hindi ko po mapatawad. Talaga. 15 years of my youth nasira dahil sa kanyang unfaithfulness. O nga naman, 15 years, binaliwala niya ako. Nag-iba siya ng paningin. Nawalan siya ng pagmamahal sa akin. So anong gagawin mo? Magdasal ka. Sa pagdadasal, kaawaan ka ng Diyos. God is a merciful God. Ituturo niya sa iyo kung anong gagawin mo. Yun ang maipapayo ko sa mga ganyang problema. Keep on praying, praying, praying. Kasi kung ikwento mo sa kaibigan mo, mapapasama. Alam niyo ang dapat niyo pang gawin? Kumuha ka ng papel at ballpen. Isulat mo lahat doon yung hinanakit mo. Sige, umiyak ka. Magdamag kang umiiyak hanggang hindi mo na maisara yung mata mo sa kaiiyak. And then, sa kaiiyak mo, mapagod ka, di ba? So matulog ka na lang. At you know what? Pagising mo, magaan na yung pakiramdam mo at marunong ka nang magpatawad. Okay. Next. Love rejoices with others. We rejoice at the good of others when we see their dignity and value, their abilities and good works. This is impossible for those who must always be comparing and competing, even with their spouse, so that they secretly rejoice in their failures. When a loving person can do good for others or sees that others are happy, they themselves live happily, and in this way give glory to God. For God loves a cheerful giver. If we fail to learn how to rejoice in the well-being of others and focus primarily on our own needs, we condemn ourselves to our joyless existence. For as Jesus said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. The family must always be a place where, when something good happens to one of its members, they know that others will be there to celebrate it with them. Sa Filipino family, hindi mahirap ito. Filipino community, hindi mahirap ito. Kasi tayo ay very closely knit. Mabalitaan mo lang na nakapasa yung anak ng pinsan mo, nandoon ka na. Masayang-masaya ka na. Kasi that is the pride of the family. Ganun yon. Napakaganda. So itong number 9, wala tayong masyadong problema dyan as Filipinos. We rejoice with others. Number 10, love bears all things. Love bears all things. Believes all things. Hopes all things. And endures all things. God's word tells us, do not speak evil against one another, brothers and sisters. Being willing to speak ill of another person is a way of asserting ourselves, venting resentment and envy without concern for the harm we may do. We often forget that slander can be quite sinful. It is a grave offense against God. When it seriously harms another person's good name and causes damage that is so hard to repair, married couples joined by love speak well of each other. They try to show their spouse's good side, not their weakness and faults. We have to realize that all of us are complex mixture of light and shadows. The other person is much more than the sum of the little things that annoy me. Love coexists with imperfection. It bears all things and can hold its peace before the limitations of the loved ones. Ang example ko nito, couples should not tell on their spouses to others, especially sa kamag-anakan. Yung sisiraan mo yung asawa mo sa kamag-anakan mo. Please don't do that. It is very bad. Slander yan eh. Di ba nakakahiya yun? Pinikwento mo yung kalukuhan ng asawa mo. Di pag nagkita-kita kayo, may reunion, napakasama yung reputasyon ng asawa mo. So, hindi tama yun. Ha? Love bears all things. Keep it to yourself. Gaya ng sabi ko kanina, isulat mo na lang sa journal mo. May diary ka dapat. Okay? Do not tell on your spouses. Lalo na sa kamag-anakan niya. Love believes all things. Here, belief is taken in the sense of what we mean by trust. This goes beyond simply presuming that the other is not lying or cheating. This trust enables a relationship to be free. Love trust. It sets free. It does not try to control, possess, and dominate everything. The spouses then shares with one another the joy of all they have received and learned outside the family circle. At the same time, this freedom makes for sincerity and transparency. For those who know that they are trusted and appreciated, can be open and hide nothing. Those who know that their spouse is always suspicious, judgmental, and lacking unconditional love will tend to keep secrets, conceal their failings and weaknesses, and pretend to be someone other than who they are. On the other hand, a family marked by loving trust, come what may, helps its members to be themselves and spontaneously to reject deceit, falsehood, and lies. Next. It's like, usually this happens sa in-laws. Pag yung mother-in-law, kung bakit ba naman parating mother-in-law, may kwento tuloy. Yung mag-asawa, sabi, anong tawag ng lalaki? Alam nyo na ito eh. Ang lalaki ay haligi ng tahanan. Ang babae ay ilaw ng tahanan. Eh, ang biyenan ng babae, ang sagot ay anay ng tahanan. Eh, narinig ng biyenan na babae, ano ka mo? Ano ako? Ay, hindi po, Nay. Kayo ang ningning ng tahanan dahil ang anak nyo yung liwanag ng tahanan. Hindi nakalusot. Okay. So, love hopes all things. Mother-in-law, sasabihin niya, ano ba naman yan na pangasawa mo? Batugan. Oh. Yung kabila naman, ano ba naman yun na pangasawa mo? Hindi marunong humawak ng pera. Mga ganun ba ang naririnig? Di ba? Maraming nangyayari ang ganito. Pero huwag kayong padadala. Trust is importante. You hope for the best. Okay. Love hopes all things. Love does not despair of the future. It speaks of the hope of one who knows that the others can change, mature, and radiate unexpected beauty and unfold potential. This does not mean that everything will change in this life. It does involve realizing that though things may not always turn out as we wish, God may well make crooked lines straight and draw some good from the evil we endure in this world. So parati tayong umaasa na balang araw, mag-mature yung kabiyak mo, na matuto siya, na sa pinapakita mong maayos, matututo siya. So you always hope. Kaya pag nag-hope ka, magpakita ka ng tama para magagaya. Okay? Next. Love endures all things. This means that love bears every trial with a positive attitude. It stands firm in hostile surroundings. This endurance involves not only the ability to tolerate certain aggravations, but something greater, a constant readiness to confront any challenge. It is a love that never gives up, even in the darkest hour. It shows a certain power to resist every negative current, an irrepressible commitment to goodness. In family life, we need to cultivate that strength of love, which can help us fight every evil threatening it. Love does not yield to resentment, scorn for others, or the desire to hurt or gain some knowledge. Alam nyo yung may kanta noon eh, huwag kang manalig sa bulong-bulungan. Alam nyo ba yung kantang yon? Huwag kang manalig sa bulong-bulungan. Nauso yan noon. Kasi ang daming naghihiwalay. There was an era na ang daming split na families, broken families. Kasi ang mga tao noon mahilig sa bulong-bulungan. Kaya bawat isa ay magtiwala. Ang tukso ay nakapaligid. Ano ba ang hindi nakapaligid? Kung si Kristo nga natukso, nakapaligid sa kanya ang tatlong tukso. Pero hindi siya natukso. So tayo, dahil strong ang ating pagmamahal sa isa't isa, huwag manalig sa bulong-bulungan. Ha? At saka sa gossip. Okay? So, yun ang tinatawag na love endures all things. So those are the 13 situations na sinasabi ni St. Paul sa kanyang description ng pagmamahal. So I'm going to continue with conjugal love. Ang conjugal love, ito nga problema ko kasi nararamdaman ko marami nang hindi gustong magpakasal. Gusto na lang mag-live-in. So nakakatakot yung ganon. So sana mabigyan ng inspiration itong makakarinig nito. Growing on conjugal love. This love is between husband and wife, a love sanctified, enriched, and illuminated by the grace of the sacrament of marriage. It is an affective union, spiritual and sacrificial, which combines the warmth of friendship. Yon, friendship muna. Then, erotic passion, and endures long after emotions and passions subside. Kaya pag ikaw nakasal sa simbahan, napakahirap humiwalay. Kasi may takot ka sa Diyos. . Ikinasal ka sa harap ng Diyos at sa harap ng tao. Eh kung nag-live-in ka lang, madali lang. Sasabihin mo, wala namang nag-bind sa atin. Tayo lang dalawa. Walang witness. So napakadali. So we go for conjugal love within the bounds of the sacrament of matrimony. Marriage is the icon of God's love for us. Ang Diyos mismo ang nagsabing pakasal. The mystery of marriage is God makes of the two spouses one single existence. Isang flesh na lang kayo. Next. So, when you have conjugal love, there is lifelong sharing. Habang buhay na pagsasama. After the love that unites us to God, conjugal love is the greatest form of friendship. It is union, possessing all the traits of good friendship. Bakit? Concern for the good of the other. Reciprocity. Intimacy. Warmth. Stability. And the resemblance born of a shared life sa hirap at sa ginhawa. Lovers do not see the relationship as merely temporary. Hindi. Those who marry do not expect their excitement to fade. Hanggang 5 years lang, 10 years lang. Hindi. Hanggang forever. Children, lalo ng mga bata, children not only want their parents to love one another, but also to be faithful and remain together. Masayang-masaya ang mga anak kung nakikita nilang loving-loving yung parents. Masayang-masaya sila. These signs show that it is in the very nature of conjugal love to be definitive. For believers, it is also covenant before God that calls for fidelity. Maging makatotohanan ka. Marriage is likewise a friendship marked by passion. But a passion always directed to an ever more stable and intense union. This is because marriage was not instituted solely for the procreation of children. Hindi lang yun. But also that mutual love might be properly expressed, that it should grow and mature. This unique friendship between a man and woman shares everything in constant mutual respect. So the word respect is very important there. Constant mutual respect. So if you have this feeling, you right away have that sense of joy and beauty. Beauty, I call it the great worth. The great worth of a person is beauty. In marriage, joy of love needs to be cultivated. Hindi pinababayaan yan, ha? Kailangan nino-nurture yan. Kino-cultivate yan. When the search for pleasure becomes obsessive, it holds us in thrall and keeps us from experiencing other satisfaction. Joy, on the other hand, increases our pleasure and help us find fulfillment in any number of things, even at those times of life when physical pleasure has ebbed. Totoo yan. Halimbawa, nagkasakit ng husband mo. Don't tell me hindi ka na makaranas ng joy at great worth. Kung matatag ang pagmamahal nyo, mayroon at mayroong joy. Marital joy can be experienced even amid sorrow. Maski may cancer pa yan. It involves accepting that marriage is an inevitable mixture of enjoyment and struggles, tensions and repose, pain and relief, satisfactions and longings, annoyances and pleasures. Wag mo sabihin, di ka na-anoy sa spouse mo. Maraming beses yan, pero napapagpasensyahan yan. But always on the path of friendship, which inspires married couples to take care for one another. They help and serve each other. One of my favorite writers is Saint Thomas Aquinas. Being I'm a Thomasian, I quoted him. Saint Thomas Aquinas said that the love of friendship is called charity. When it perceives and esteems the great worth of another person, beauty that great worth, which is other than physical or psychological appeal, enables us to appreciate the sacredness of a person without feeling the need to possess it. Tandaan nyo yan. Basta nakita mo yung inner beauty ng kasama mo, yun ang totoo yung dapat makita, masilayan. That is true love. You see the inner beauty of your partner. Maski matanda na, gray hair na kayo, pag nakita nyo yun, mamahalin nyo pa rin siya. Tenderness, on the other hand, is a sign of a love free of selfish possessiveness. The aesthetic experience of love is expressed in that look or gaze. Diba? Ang sarap pakiramdam pag masaya ang tingin ng asawa mo sa'yo. Maganda yung smile ng kabiyak mo. It's some kind of appreciation. Maski wala siyang sinabi, nag-smile, maganda yung look niya sa iyo, para kang nasa heaven. Which contemplates other persons as ends in themselves, even if they are infirm, elderly, or physically unattractive. A look of appreciation has enormous importance, and to begrudge it is usually hurtful. This lies behind the complaints and grievances we often hear in families. Sasabihin ng husband, "My wife does not look at me. She acts as if I were invisible." Paano si wife busy, no? Dapat hindi tayo ganyan. Yung gaya nung nagliligawan pa, tingnan mo siya sa mata. Tingnan mo siya sa mukha. Ganun yon. Love opens our eyes and enables us to see beyond all else the great worth of a human being, meaning the inner beauty. Since we were made for love, we are created for love, no? We are created to love. Ganon din yun. We know that there is no greater joy than that of sharing good things. Give, take, and treat yourself well. May awitin nga nung panahon namin eh. You got to give a little, take a little. Ang ganda-ganda ng kantang yun. Tama yun. Give and take. On the other hand, joy also grows through pain and sorrow. After suffering and struggling together, spouses are able to experience that it was worth it because they achieved some good, learned something as a couple, or came to appreciate what they have as a result of a shared great effort. masayang-masaya yung pakiramdam ng mag-asawa na successful na sila dahil pinaghirapan nila yon. Hindi yun nanggaling sa pera ng mga magulang o pinaghirapan ng mga magulang. Sarili nilang sikap yon, sariling kayod, ika nga. Masarap na masarap ang pakiramdam mo pag natupad yon. So we aim for that. So, my dear listeners, lahat ng ito ay maski marami tayong problema, mayroon tayong dapat na gawin. At iyon ay dialogue. Nagda-dialogue ba kayong mag-asawa? Nag-uusap ba kayong mag-asawa? Nagko-communicate ba kayong madalas? Kung hindi pa, magsanay na kayo, magsanay na. Gawan nyo ng paraan na magkwentuhan kayo, mag-communicate kayo talaga. Importante yun. Dialogue is essential for experiencing, expressing, and fostering love in marriage and family life. Yet, it can only be the fruit of a long and demanding apprenticeship. Bakit? Men and women, young people and adults, communicate differently. Sasabihin ng anak mo, iba na naman ng lingwahe nyo eh. Hindi tayo nagkakaintindihan, mama. Ano bang lingwahe ang gusto mo? Yun na nga, apprentice tayo lahat. Kaya pag-aralan natin itong mabuti. They act in different ways. We need to develop certain attitudes that express love and encourage authentic dialogue. How often we hear complaints like, he does not listen to me. Hindi naman ako pinapakinggan ng mga magulang ko eh. Hindi naman ako pinapansin. Ganon. I talk to her and I feel like she can't wait for me to finish. Hindi pa man ako natatapos eh, sasabat na siya. Mga ganon. Another, when I speak to him, he tries to change the subject. Change subject. Or he gives me curt responses to end the conversation. So anong gagawin natin? Ang gagawin natin, develop the habit of giving real importance to the other person. This means appreciating them and recognizing their right to exist. Everyone has something to contribute because they have their own life experiences. They look at things from a different standpoint. And they have their own concerns, abilities, and insights. The ability to say what one is thinking without offending the other person is important. So, words should be carefully chosen so as not to offend, especially when discussing difficult issues. Making a point should never involve venting anger and inflicting hurt. Many disagreements between couples are not about important things. They are trifle things, are trivial things. But what alters the mood is the way things are said or the attitude with which they are said. Pabalagbag ba? Yung ganun. Kaya siyempre, yung kabila, mabibwisit na rin. So mag-aaway na, wala nang dialogue. Okay. And I would like to remind everyone, alam nyo, I am not happy whenever, nung wala pang COVID, whenever I see a family eating in restaurants, nandyan yung lahat sila may cellphone. Kakain sila pero may kanya-kanyang hawak na cellphone. Ano pa at nagkainan kayo na grupo, kung pabayaan mo naman yung anak mo, na tig-isa sila, nagse-cellphone. Sana hindi na mangyari ito. Kaya tayong mga magulang, mag-aral tayo paano madisiplina ang ating mga anak. Okay? Yung cellphone na yan kung minsan nakakasira eh. Pero I don't know, ngayong COVID, siguro ang banding mas maganda kasi nandiyan lahat tayo sa bahay. Pero again, ang cellphone nakaka-distract. Pag-isipan natin yan. Number 17, topic. The erotic dimension of love. Okay. Nung estudyante kami, yung word na erotic hindi pa namin mabigkas-bigkas. Kasi hindi dapat pinag-uusapan. Okay? Pero time change. Kailangan pag-usapan. The erotic dimension of love. God Himself created sexuality, which is a marvelous gift to His creatures. The church simply tolerates sexuality because it is necessary for procreation. Okay? Go ye and multiply, sabi ni God. But Saint John Paul II, napaka-diplomatic na Pope, level-headed na Pope, said that human persons are called to full and mature spontaneity in their relationships. A maturity that is the gradual fruit of a discernment of the impulses of one's own heart. A healthy sexual desire closely joined to a pursuit of pleasure always involves a sense of wonder, and for that very reason can humanize the impulses. So, nandyan, sabi ni St. John Paul, huwag kang mag-guilty kasi you are following the desire of your heart, sabi niya. Healthy sexual desire, see? Always involves a sense of wonder. So don't be guilty. We consider the erotic dimension of love simply as a gift from God that enriches the relationship of the spouses, revealing the marvels of which the human heart is capable. Kasi ang puso, hindi mo makabigyan eh. See? The desires of your heart, go for it. In this way, we can feel that life has turned out good and happy. Follow the desires of your heart. Pag-usapan naman natin the love of mother and father. Children once born begin to receive, along with nourishment and care, the spiritual gift of knowing with certainty that they are loved by their father and mother. Together, they teach the value of reciprocity, of respect for differences, and of being able to give and take. Yun na naman, give and take, sharing. Yun ang ibig sabihin doon. Mothers are the strongest antidote to the spread of self-centered individualism. A mother who watches over her child with tenderness and compassion helps him or her to grow in confidence and to experience that the world is a good and welcoming place. This helps the child to grow in self-esteem, malakas ang kanyang paniniwala sa sarili, and in turn to develop a capacity for intimacy and empathy. A father, for his part, helps the child to perceive the limits of life, to be open to the challenges of the wider world, and to see the need for hard work. Yun ang dapat ipakita ng tatay. Hard work and strenuous effort. A father possessed of a dear and serene masculine identity who demonstrates affection and concern for her wife, for his wife, is just as necessary as a caring mother. The presence of both figures, male and female, creates the environment best suited to the growth of the child. Tingnan naman natin yung sons and daughters. The fourth commandment asks children to honor their father and mother. Diba? Parents must not be abandoned or ignored. But marriage itself demands that they be left so that the new home will be a place of security, hope, and future plans. And the couple can truly become one flesh. Marriage challenges husbands and wives to find new ways of being sons and daughters. Maski ikaw ay matagal nang may asawa, ikaw pa rin ay son ng tatay mo at nanay mo at ikaw ay daughter pa rin ng tatay at nanay mo. Tandaan nyo yan. Okay? Yun namang pagiging magkakapatid, brothers and sisters. Relationships between brothers and sisters deepen with passing of time. And the bond of fraternity that forms in the family between children, if consolidated by an educational atmosphere of openness to others, is a great school of freedom and peace. In the family, we learn how to live as one. Magandang tingnan yun. Growing up with brothers and sisters makes for a beautiful experience of caring for and helping one another. It must be acknowledged that having a brother or sister who loves you is a profound, precious, and unique experience. This training, at times quite demanding, is a true school of socialization. When it has been possible to have only one child, ways have to be found to ensure that he or she does not grow up alone or isolated. Tandaan nyo yan, yung nag-iisa lang ang anak. And last but not the least, pag-usapan natin yung larger family. In the Philippines, this is very important. We call it the extended family. So kung minsan ng isang bahay, may lola, may lolo, may auntie, may uncle, may in-laws, ganun. But that is healthy, di ba? As long as the privacy of the couple is preserved. So we have the larger family. In addition to the small circle of the couple and their children, there is a larger family which cannot be overlooked. Friends, minsan mga kaibigan mong walang-wala, friends and other families are part of this larger family, as well as communities of families who support one another in their difficulties, their social commitments, and their faith. This larger family should provide love and support. Kanino? To teenage mothers. Malaking may tutulong nila. Children without parents. Single mothers left to raise children. Ang dami dyan. Persons with disabilities needing particular affection and closeness. Young people struggling with addiction. The unmarried, separated, or widowed who are alone, and the elderly and infirm who lack the support of their children. Finally, we cannot forget that this larger family includes, ito na, father-in-law, mother-in-law, at lahat ng kamag-anakan ng mag-asawa. One particularly delicate aspect of love is learning not to view these relatives as somehow competitors, threats, or intruders. Huwag niyong isipin yun. The conjugal union demands respect for their traditions and customs, an effort to understand their language and to retain from criticism, caring for them while maintaining the legitimate privacy of the couple. So, yung Kapampangan, nag-asawa ng Ilocano, so dapat si Kapampangan, irespeto niya yung tradisyon at kultura ng Ilocano. Ganon din yung Bisaya at Bicolano. Ganon yun, para walang conflict, respect. We recognize those things to keep harmony. So, that ends my little piece. Little piece. I received some questions. Nag-receive ako 14, pero hinati ko. At 7 lang yung aking sasagutin. So, magsimula na ako. Ang number 1 question. Many parents, grandparents, pressure their children to excel in their schoolwork. Nako, napakadaming problema nito ng mga magulang. Bakit? Kasi pag nag-uusap ang mga magulang, uy, kumusta yung anak mo? Ay, yung anak ko, valedictorian. Kumusta yung apo mo? Ay, ang apo ko ang pinakamagaling sa mathematics. You see, yung mga ganun ba? So, pressure ito. My answer, the love between mother and child is great. However, it will disturb your child if he knows your concern is based on his performance in school. You should calm your nerves by praying. Magdasal ka na lang kung bobo yung apo mo, yung anak mo. Kahit anong turo mo, ay hindi naman lahat ng tao dapat marunong sa math, dapat marunong sa Ingles. Hayaan mo kung saan siya masaya. We are always gaining something and losing something. Besides, anyone can excel in his field. Kung yung kakilala nga ni chairman engineer, isang araw na salubong niya. Akalain mo siya na lahat ng may-ari ng salon ng Shoemart. Oh, ang layo no, engineer, tapos nagkaroon ng maraming salon. Di ba katawa-tawa yun? Okay. My daughter's fiancé is inferior to her in education and social status. Malaking problema talaga to. Yung bang magulang na hindi niya matanggap na dihado yung kanyang anak, yung ganun. So ang sagot ko, we should not be overly concerned about a person's wisdom by his diploma. Virtue is what really counts. We should plan to get married because of love, not because of social status or other such attractions. A very good example. May highbrow na pamilya, intellectuals lahat sila. So lahat ng mga pamangkin, edukado sa mga prestigious university, ay yung isang pamangkin na in love sa isang mekaniko. Hindi pa man nag-aral sa universidad, sa isang pipitsuging technological school. So minata-mata. Kaso you know what? Siya na ngayon ang paboritong in-law. Why? Because he made a name for himself sa pagiging mekaniko. So yun hindi tayo nakakasiguro na balang araw tatayog din yun kasi hindi naman diploma ang tinitingnan natin. Di ba? Number 3. I know that the one I love lies, sinungaling, to me once, but I still love him. Whenever I see him, I feel like punching him. But when he's away, I miss him dearly. I even want to die. Oh. Sabi ko, do not be so silly as to want to die. for someone like him. Why? It is so easy to die. You should make your existence valuable. You can do a lot of great things for others. Our lives are short. That you have been mistreated by someone is not so bad. But what is really bad is when you don't make the most of your life. Yun ang bad. Okay? Number 4. Matindi ito. My husband is having an affair. How can I cope with the pain? Masakit nga ito talaga. But my answer is, don't call it an affair. Huwag mo sabihing affair. You should view it as fate. Kapalaran mo yan. You should view it as fate. It is part of your destiny. You should accept it bravely. Wala kang kasalanan. Naitalaga na yan sa iyong kapalaran. So anong gagawin mo? You should keep loving and thanking your husband. Si ma'am naman, baliw. Hindi. You should keep loving and thanking your husband. Bakit? He has given you a chance to see that our lives are filled with changes. Kita? You can grasp this chance to examine your conscience. Yun. And read just yourself. Do not see it as a form of pain. Ikaw, tuktok mo lang naman nagsasabing painful. Pero kung inaral mo yan sa konsyensya mo, hindi painful talaga yon kasi may kasalanan ka din. It is a sin if you harm yourself or others. Kasalanan yun. How can you eliminate your bad destiny if you do not have a body to do good deeds? Kasi yung natatabi mong strength, yung natatabi mong virtues, gawin mo sa tama. Do good deeds. Both husband and wife should feel grateful if their marriage is pleasant. And they should remain calm if marriage is not as wonderful as they expected. Huwag kang magkalat. Aralin mong mabuti. Paano mo maiba yung kapalaran mo? Paano mo maiba yung destiny mo? Number 5. How can a professional woman take care of her family and career at the same time? Marami yan. Halos lahat ng married women ay nagtatrabaho to augment the income. So one of the best things for women to have is the glory of the maternal instinct. It is good to get ahead in her career, but she should not extinguish the glory of her maternal instinct. Pag ginawa mo yon, you will not go wrong. Hindi ka magigilty. Kasi hindi mo napapabayaan yung pagiging nanay ka or asawa ka. Okay? My husband is sometimes unfaithful. Ito na naman, unfaithful. Hindi having an affair ito, unfaithful lang. Nakita mo sa cellphone niya, may mga pangalan na iba, may ginawa siya. Unfaithful. It really hurts. What should I do? So, do not be pushy. Why? Love is like a ball. The harder you throw it against the ground, the higher it will bounce. Do not strangle your husband with excessive love. If you do so, he will politely keep you at arm's length. Be gentle and thoughtful to him and not possessive. If you give him too much pressure, he will be obedient to you only in appearance. Takot na lang niya, no? Pero sa loob-loob niya, hindi. In fact, he is probably afraid of you in his heart. No wonder he commits acts of unfaithfulness. Continue being gentle and thoughtful. When he realizes what you are doing, he will feel grateful toward you. He will then cherish your love more deeply, realizing that you are providing space for him to grow and breathe. His heart is like a furnace. Alam niyo ang furnace, no? No matter how cold his heart may be, you can warm it with your sincere love. So the heart of a man is like a furnace. Number 7. My husband always takes his troubles and frustrations home. What is worse, he likes to take them out on me. I am bothered by this constantly. Hindi nga tama ito. A husband's psychological problems can only be healed by his wife. Be sure to encourage him and show your love to him. Never tell him to take it easy because that's the way the things are. Huwag mo sabihin, ay ganyan lang yan. Pabayaan mo yan. Huwag mo sasabihin yon. Instead, tell him that you understand how bad he feels and that he has suffered much for you and the children, and that you really appreciate all his hard work. Okay? I hope I was able to answer these 7 questions. But this is not the end. I would like to end my piece with some reminders. Napagod na kayo, Mr. Resyo?
Hindi pa, ma'am. We can continue listening and listening.
Ito, conclusion na talaga.
Sige po.
The common disease in today's society is lovelessness. Talaga, lovelessness. If we can first start with ourselves and fill our hearts with love, then give that love to each one, then society will be harmonious. Human life passes in a breath. Our lives are measured in seconds, not in years. By realizing this, we can better appreciate our lives. Since we live in the world only for a few decades, the most important thing is our behavior. Our behavior each day determines whether our lives end up being meaningful or meaningless. How you treated other people, not your wealth or accomplishments, is the most enduring impact you can leave on earth. Love is the secret of a lasting heritage. At bedsides of many people in their final moment, yung malapit ng mamatay, narinig nyo na ba? They want to be surrounded by the people they love and had relationships with. Hindi naman nila sasabihin, yung wallet ko or yung sasakyan ko. Hindi. Nasaan si ganyan? Nasaan si ganito? They want to be surrounded by the people they love and had relationships with. So every morning upon waking up, we assure God that we spend the day loving Him, loving other people, and loving ourselves. The best expression of love is time. Time is the most precious gift because we only have a set amount of it. We can make more money, but cannot make more time. Men in particular often don't understand this. Anong sinasabi nila? They often complain. I don't understand my wife and kids. I provide everything they need. What more could they want? Ay, your wife and kids want you, ikaw. Your focus, your presence, your attention, your eyes, your ears, your time. Naintindihan mo yon? Whenever we give our time, we are making a sacrifice. And sacrifice is the essence of love. So, the best time to love is now. Now. Mamaya, kunin nyo na yung cellphone nyo. Magtawag na kayo. Now is the best time to express love because you don't know how long you will have the opportunity. Circumstances change. People die. Children grow up. You have no guarantee of tomorrow. Wala kang guarantee. Sabi nga nung isa, alam mo, naka-play ko lang ng golf kahapon. Ngayon, nasa punerarya na. And then yung isa sabi niya, oo nga kanina kausap ko lang sa telepono. Ngayon, naghahanap na sila ng kabaong. Ano ba yan? So the best use of life is love. The best expression of love is time. The best time to love is now. Now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that very wonderful, talaga. Ma'am, may mga comments nga dito
Ano?
More pa daw. Sabi ko, we will have more of this soon, no? Thank you very much, madam, for this very wonderful talk. Very inspiring. Ma'am, ang dami pong mga key takeaways, ang daming mga nagko-comment ng questions nila. Kaya lang po, we don't have much time anymore to answer all these questions, ma'am.
Okay.
Once again, ma'am, maraming salamat po from the bottom of our hearts. Talagang love rejoices with others. Love is marked by humility. Our pride must be healed. Love is not boastful. We encourage to do acts of mercy, visit the sick, visit those in prison, get inspiration from the success of others. At ang pinaka-importante po, lambingin natin ang ating mga misis, ang ating mga asawa, kagatin natin ang tenga nila. Yan. So, maraming salamat, ma'am. Let's give Madam TFC a round of applause. Palakpakan natin ang ating mahal na managing director.
For the opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, at this point po, we're going to show you this short video clip na ginawa po namin. Nagtanong-tanong po kami sa mga tao dito, what is love? At panoorin po natin ang kanya-kanyang sagot dito po sa napakahalagang katanungan na what is love. So we'll end with this. Maraming salamat po for joining us this afternoon. Thank you very much, Madam TFC, for this very wonderful talk. And so with that, my dear HCC, PG, and all the other group of companies, have a nice weekend and may God be praised. Thank you. What is love? What is love? What is love? What is love? What is love?
Love is a mutual understanding and responsibility to each other, and you will always choose each other no matter what.
Sir, love is blind.
Bakit?
Mamahalin mo yung tao sa lahat ng flaws niya, lahat ng mali niya. Tatanggapin mo pa rin siya. Tatanggapin mo pa rin siya.
Keep on loving you kung sadyang di ako ang sigaw at di mo.
Love conquers all.
Sana all.
What is love?
It's sweet.
Sweet.
Sweet. Yun.
Love is all about sacrifice.
What is love?
Love is blind.
Sagutin mo, what is love?
Sasagot ko.
What is love?
What is love?
What is love?
Takusa, sir.
Ano takusa?
Takot sa asawa.
What is love?
Love is powerful.
Power.
Baka naman.
Ang love is pag-ibig para sa mga nagmamahalan, pagmamahal sa asawa, anak, pamilya. Yun lang po.
Ayos. What is love?
Love is being committed. Love is beautiful.
Ayun. Pwede.
Love is all about giving.
Wow, Paskong Pasko ha. Paskong Pasko. Thank you.
Love is sometimes it's sacrifice.
Bakit may pinagdadaanan ka?
Meron, sir.
Love is everything.
Hi, everything.
What is love?
Wait lang, sir.
Pwede na yun. Pwede na. Okay, give. Oh.
Love is kind.
Wow, ang lalim. Ang lalim.
Love is unconditional.
Oh, mabigat. Oh.
Love is ay isang pagmamahalan sa isa't isa.
Ayos! What is love?
Para sa akin, yung love, natataon sa buhay yan. Kapag dumating talaga yung totoong love para sa'yo, huwag mo nang pakawalan. I-grab mo na yan.
Love is blind.
Basta pag... Basta pag handa ka na magmahal, handa ka na rin masaktan.
What is love?
Love conquers all.
Love is no gender.
Yes!
Pwede kang magmahal kung nang bukal sa puso mo at maroon kang maghintay sa tamang tao. Handang magmahal sa handang magtanggapin ka mo kahit ano ka man.
Yun! Ayos! Ayos yun! What is love?
Masarap sa pakiramdam.
What is love?
Ano ba yan? Wait lang. Para sa akin, yung love, kusang dumarating, hindi hinahanap.
What is love?
Nagbibigay ng ligaya. Yun lang, sir.
May nagbibigay ba ng ligaya sa'yo?
Kapag dumating talaga yung totoong love para sa'yo, huwag mo nang pakawalan. I-grab mo na yan.
Ayun! Ayos!
Love is like a rosary, sir. It's full of mystery po. Yun lang po.
Ayos, malungkot. Ano yung pagmamahal?
Wait lang po.
Mahirap kasi pag marami kang minamahal eh. Okay. What is love?
Wait lang po.
What is love?
Wait lang, sir. Hindi ko pa alam yung sasagot ko eh.
Paano yung mga babaeng minamahal mo? Paano yung mga babaeng minamahal mo? Hindi mo masagot kung ano yung pagmamahal.
Isa lang, sir eh.
Pagbigyan mo na sana ako.
Pakinggan naman po natin ang opinion ng isang importanteng tao tungkol sa pagmamahal. SB, what is love?
Love is a deepest and strongest interpersonal affection between a man and a woman.
What is love?
Love is time. It's spending time with your special someone, with your friends, and your family.
Love is an affection to everyone, to anyone. And love also is a gift of God. A gift of God.